Okay, so Charles, I just wanted to show you some of the new products the Perth Mint has just launched. In fact, we launched them just last night on the 2nd of February. And the first product we've got here is a pretty unique product, and in fact it is a 2 kilo silver Koala coin. What we've actually done here is we've antiqued it, we've got it in high relief, so you can see the effigy of the Queen, we've got edge numbering on the side, and we're only making 200 of these worldwide. And it's pretty unique because it's a 2 kilo coin. We don't believe anyone else has done this at this point in time, and it's certainly a first from the Perth Mint. So absolutely beautiful, and you can feel the weight and the heaviness of it.
Yeah, so the Perth Mint has been basically at the forefront of the technology as far as doing high relief coins. In fact, when the United States in 2009 was trying to strike its ultra high relief St. Gaudens design, they asked for the expertise of the Perth Mint in their experimental stages. So how far has this technology come in the last 10 years to be able to strike these coins?
Look, I guess we managed to perfect it back 10 years ago when we helped the US Mint with that blank. And really, it hasn't changed since then. It's just, it depends on the design you actually put on the coin. So for example, we've just launched the wedge-tailed eagle, and this is the latest John McCanty design. Absolutely beautiful family of eagles, the mother and the baby and father flying in over the top. Absolutely stunning on the coin. And what's happening here is, in particular, the middle part of the coin is the one that's always going to pop up further, because that's where the greatest part of the concave surface is. You see it again on the obverse side where the Queen's head really does lift up from the surface. The other two products I wanted to talk about that we launched again on the 2nd of February is our new Bullion Coins. And basically we've come up with a fairly new concept here, and what we always try to do at the Perth Mint is be a little bit different. And the bullion market's been a little bit tough lately, but we wanted to stimulate it with something new that would appeal to the bullion market and also the collector market. So we've actually come up with a rectangle coin. And I want to point out that it's definitely a coin. It is not a bar. It is legal tender of Australia. So there is the Queen's effigy on both coins, and it's a silver dollar and $100 coin. And what we wanted to do here is also tie into our lunar collectors. So we've actually got a mintage of 25,000 only on the gold worldwide. Now our lunar program has 30,000, and they sell out very quickly. The silver, now we're not packaging it in a capsule like this, we're actually packaging it in tubes and monster boxes. But again, this has a mintage of 500,000 pieces, and we think it's really going to be popular with the bullion market and the collectors as well.
Australia is unique in a way because it has two official mints. It has the Perth Mint and the Royal Australian Mint. What is the difference between the way the two mints are organized?
The Perth Mint is owned by the Government of Western Australia. It's our sole shareholder. We make Australian legal tender coins under licence from the Commonwealth, and the Royal Australian Mint is actually owned by the Australian government. Their main role is obviously to provide circulating coinage for the Australian population, and they also make precious metal coins. But we were originally set up, our modern history back in '86, to actually make Australia's bullion program. And the reason is, Western Australia in particular is such a large mining state. Just east of Perth is the town of Kalgoorlie, where the super pit is, and an enormous amount of Australian gold comes out of that super pit. And Perth is just down the road in relative terms. And so we refine it, and what we wanted to do was always add value to the Australian gold industry. So whether that means refining it into bars that we sell overseas or refining it into coins, we're always trying to add value at every process we do. So we've successfully marketed the Australian bullion coins since 1987. And with that has also come the numismatic range that we have today. We also make coins for other countries. In particular, some of the pop culture we would make on Tuvalu legal tender, which is a Pacific Island nation, also part of the Commonwealth, and therefore we can use the Queen's effigy on those coins.
So the numismatic industry has dramatically transformed in the last 20 plus years. I mean, the things that we're creating now, not only from a technological standpoint, were inconceivable, when the Perth Mint was established, but the fact of the matter is that we're essentially in a golden age of creativity when it comes to like these products.
Absolutely. There's a couple of things happening within the industry itself. We're always looking for new collectors. The classic collector that wanted the original proof coins, they've been around for a lot of years, and I guess there's not as many as there used to be. We're always looking for new collectors. How do we do that? We need to come up with new and innovative things. One of the big trends in numismatic coins is the licensed products. And what's the reason for that? Because we're attracting a whole new audience of collectors. There's people out there who love the Star Treks of the world. We've successfully marketed Star Trek coins for the last 3 years, and what we're appealing to is a non-coin collecting market.
Right.
As well as the coin collecting market. And what we're trying to do is the non-coin collecting people come in, buy our coins, and then we ideally would like them to buy coins in the future. So we're creating a new breed of collectors, which is really important for the sustainability of the business.
So it's almost like you're creating coins that don't have a border anymore.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'll show you our new Star Trek coins. So for example, the latest series of Star Trek is called Discovery, and it's actually on the Netflix channel. And basically, this is the captain, and this is the ship. So we've done these two coins. Again, they have just launched on the 2nd of February. They're actually legal tender of Tuvalu, but with the Queen's effigy. And we really believe they're going to be very popular. They come in a 2-coin set that looks like a teleporter, so we're trying to tap into that whole Star Trek theme with these coins. We've previously done a Star Trek coin from the original series with the crew on the coin,
right.
And we actually packed it in the communicator box,
right.
So it's like the communicator from Star Trek. So, we need to be creative and innovative with our packaging and with our coin design to bring some of these new collectors into the market.
Packaging in modern coins is almost as important as the coin.
Absolutely. You can see right there on your left the lucky waving cat. So, for example, the packaging really is a big part of this coin. What we have here is the cat that moves and waves its arm, and of course, if you walk into many Chinese restaurants, you'll see the lucky waving cat. So it's very big in the Chinese culture, and again, this really appeals to our large export markets in Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and other Asian regions. The other area we're doing very well with is actually gift giving. Mm-hmm. So you're actually moving out of the traditional collector area.
Sort of a lifestyle brand.
And into gift giving. So for example, we have the newborn coin. And what we're finding is, our sales of this are strong every month. Mm-hmm. They don't have a peak with the launch and then a decline over time. It's just people looking for a gift. We have newborn coins, we have a wedding coin, we have a happy birthday coin. We've actually added a graduation coin into our range this year.
Right.
So when you think about it, most countries in the world would have 2 graduation ceremonies a year of university students. So what better way to provide a gift than with a coin?
Right, exactly. Everyone's always graduating or having babies.
Absolutely.
So I saw a press release of this. I haven't seen this coin in person until today. This 8-figured coin.
Yes.
So this again must completely require a different striking technology than
absolutely
what a traditional coin would require.
Look, our production guys, we really are so pleased with our production guys, how they can take an idea and actually bring it to a saleable point. I mean, to produce this is incredibly difficult. They actually blanked the 8 before we struck it. Again, we've antiqued it so you can touch it, but it's a very difficult process to go through. We were ecstatic with the result, and the sales have been really strong as well. We released this in November last year. Again, Australian legal tender, very innovative, got a lot of publicity around this coin, and it's been very successful.
What do you think it is about coins that make people love them so much as opposed to striking these as metals. I mean,
Yep.
there's just something about it being a coin that seems like it changes the equation.
Yeah, look, I think it's a combination of things. One, when it's a legal tender coin, people feel that it's more official. So it's actually an official Australian legal tender coin. Some people will feel that holds more merit than holding, this is 2 ounces of silver, than holding another 2 ounces of silver that doesn't have the legal tender. So it's government backed from that point of view. The other key thing with the popularity of coins is getting the theme right.
Right.
So, and that's where here we got some innovation. We put the dragons on the coin, and people just flock to it for that reason.
So obviously, if you're familiar with the Perth Mint line over the years, I mean, they're well researched, well executed designs. They're on trend. But is there ever a moment when you're conceiving an idea where you're like, well, I don't know if this is going to work?
We have a bit of a running joke that sometimes we think the best ideas are the ones that may not work in the market, and sometimes the ones we think are not great ideas, they do work. I always remember we did a Gods of Olympus series, an antiqued 2 ounce silver coin.
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
And we showed it around the trade, and just before we were launching, and we got no good feedback, and we're starting to question ourselves, do we launch this? And we launched it, and it was red hot.
Right.
And why? People loved the theme and they loved the design. So the antiquing was beautiful, the high relief of the metallic look, it was just really innovative at the time, and they loved the theme.
So why do you think you didn't get good feedback in the pre-launch?
It's really weird. I just feel like people think they'd seen it before. But again, the market loved it.
So one of the things that, the United States collector, and I'm going to speak on, I'm going to not necessarily speak for the United States marketplace, but the United States collector, when they come to our major coin shows, they come to basically, for lack of a better word, a flea market environment.
Yeah.
There are a handful of very established businesses which will have professional booths, but nothing quite like what we have here. I mean, we have this is truly a trade show.
Yes.
And I know the major mints will come to the ANA's World Fair of Money, and usually they'll have a hotel room and they'll have private meetings.
Yes.
You won't see them on the floor. You won't see their key people. But here it's different. I mean, this is essentially the World Series. You have to show this material to your wholesale buyers, and you have to make business happen.
Yeah.
Where at an American show, it's more like a collector coming buying one coin at a time.
Yeah.
It seems to me that this marketplace, for some reason, gets something that we aren't getting in America. And I think part of that is that numismatics is a contemporary concern. It's happening now.
Yes.
Like the future of numismatics is being planned in your sales meeting rooms. It's being planned in the production facility, in the R&D department. Numismatics is not necessarily something stuck with the Kookaburra penny patterns, or the Melbourne cent, or the $1804 in America. It's not the past. It's always happening. Yeah. And why is it that the world market seems like it understands that, but the American market seems stuck looking at numismatics as the past?
Wow, that's a really interesting and tough question, and certainly the way I'd answer that, and I certainly am not meaning to offend anyone, but I would see the American market as very conservative. So for example, we've been doing colour coins for over 15 years, and they sell phenomenally well everywhere, and probably the weakest area would be America. And the reason is they like the classic, which I understand to an extent, but that's a little bit of that conservatism coming out. A lot of innovations will go so well in Asia, Australia and Europe, and they may not go well in the USA because, again, that conservative feel comes over. That's probably the best way I could answer that. And the other thing I would probably say is, look, Americans are very patriotic, so therefore their focus is on American coins and the grading, that sort of thing. So when I notice when I go to the ANA, which I go to every year, we see rows and rows of American graded coins.
Right.
And that's what the visitors to the show seem to be looking for, and not so much the international coins. When I'm here in Berlin, you see all the world mints, and you see people coming from over Germany and Europe, and they're genuinely interested in what the world mints are doing. So I think that's a bit of difference there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, and like I said, I'm an American collector, and I don't mean to knock my own collecting culture. I mean, the first coin that I fell in love with was a Bicentennial Quarter, a 1976 quarter. It had a drummer boy on the back. A very patriotic coin. You can't get more patriotic than that. But you know, I go to an American coin show and I see fabulous coins. I've handled coins that sell for millions of dollars, and they're fantastic and they're amazing in their own way. Yeah. But I come to this show and I see something I've never seen before. It makes you smile, you know, to see even like a little mint, like maybe the Latvian mint or some little state mint, come up with something and you're like, oh, well, that's really cool. Yeah. In America, though, it seems it's interesting because I would say like there are a handful of international mints that are sort of unofficial American mints that their products enter into the bloodstream of the American collector. Yeah. You know, the Perth Mint is definitely in that list. You know, you put out coins that are not strictly speaking just for your native national market. Scooby-Doo, you got Bugs Bunny, obviously Star Trek. You did the Back to the Future coin, is that what it was?
We did, yes.
Yeah.
Huge success.
It came with the DeLorean. Yeah. I unboxed that. Yeah. I got one of those so I do shoot a video of me unboxing it. It was just it's just cool, and it gets back to the packaging, the whole thing. But so how have you been able to penetrate the American market, which is so conservative? Yeah.
Look, it's a combination of things. Luckily, we've had some fantastic partners over the years that have really pushed our coins, whether it be the old-fashioned mail catalogue guys or the newer e-com guys. So they really push our coins very well. But with that, you've got to have a product that people want to buy. So what the Perth Mint's been able to do is, one, produce a real high quality coin, which I think people really appreciate. I know in the US, whether you like grading or not, and we're impartial to it, our coins grade incredibly well, and that's because of the quality of the coins we release. We have an incredibly rigorous process when it comes to the production and inspection of our coins before they leave our building. The second thing is, I believe we've got a great product development team, and we've been able to tap in to some creativity that will appeal to the American market. Hence, and I think one of the key decisions we ever made was linking an Australian wedge-tailed eagle and John McCanty. Right. I mean, we got this fabulous American coin designer to do an Australian wedge-tailed eagle on Australian legal tender coins. And I think it's had a real impact on the American market. The other thing I think we have is innovation. So people kind of see a lot of innovative products coming out from the Perth Mint that attracts a bit of news and attention from that point of view. I mean, last night, again, on February the 2nd, we launched our new Phoenix coin, which is a 10-ounce gold, but comes with an amazing Phoenix that is made up of a pave set of pink diamonds that's over 1.2 carats. And it's just an amazing piece. We're only making 8, and within one day we've already sold 1 and have orders for 2. So, you know, this is a coin that's hitting the headlines around the world because of the innovation, the prestige, and it's very limited.
So knowing what you know on the R&D side of the things that are coming that haven't either being worked on, being conceived, or maybe are just down the road, how different are coins going to be in 10 years from where they're at now?
Wow, that's a really interesting question. I think this market is moving very quickly these days, and I don't even know myself where it's going to be in 10 years in terms of the innovations coming out. Certainly when you see some of the shapes of coins that are coming out from mints, you know, they are not just round coins anymore. They are not just flat coins anymore. There's things popping out of them, there's things in them, there's things moving in them. So there's lots of different things happening, and I think that will continue to happen. I think innovation will still be a key moving forward to attract attention, to gain a new audience. So yeah, a lot of change, I think, in the next 10 years.
Great. Well, thanks for sharing me these coins, and congratulations
Thanks.
on having such an interesting array of coins for the new year.
Thank you.